Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A, where we go over all latest news that happened during the week of mobile, answer your questions live. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. Alright guys, we got some big news when it comes to a lot of stuff. If you do have any questions about CES, any of the stuff that you saw on either my photos or my videos, did a lot of content on not only my channel, but also on Newegg's TikTok. Posted a lot of videos there, including a new talking robot. So yeah, lots of fun stuff got to see at CES, but if you have any questions, please let me know. Until then, let's get to some of the news. Alright, now the first bit of news is going to be the Galaxy Z Fold 5. Now this is really interesting because, we kind of know everything there is to know about the S23 Ultra and S23 at this point. There are some possibilities of a secret one, which I will talk to at the end of the news. But the big thing that was just talked about is Samsung has a new hinge mechanism for the Fold that should decrease the crease by a lot. But the more important thing to me by far is the two additions that this can help provide. Number one, a 108 megapixel camera. Essentially, it will have the same camera that the S22 Ultra has. Now, the S23 Ultra is the first one that's supposed to have a 200 megapixel camera, yada, yada, yada. Great. But the Fold 5 having from a 50 megapixel to 105 megapixel camera, mainly who cares about the megapixels? It's more about the bigger sensor with the huge bokeh effect. That is super intriguing because it means that the Fold will finally get a much better camera, and to be fair, a more competitive camera with some of the other Folds that we're getting overseas from Oppo and other countries. So I am very interested in that finally we're getting a much better camera on the Fold. Very happy to see that. But the even bigger one that I just have to hope that is true is the fact that apparently we're finally getting an S Pen slot. Now, we heard this news at the beginning of last year with the Fold 4, right? Oh, it's going to have an S Pen slot. Then they had to give that up around, I think they gave up on it around April of last year, that no, it's not going to be able to do it. So they kind of abandoned it. This year, it's looking, again, like it's a possibility now, and it's also more of a demand now. So I am hoping that this is something we get with this new hinge mechanism. And essentially, I've heard a few different names for it. I've heard it called dumbbell or teardrop or different things. But basically, this new hinge mechanism is going to allow for a different kind of crease. Now, the one thing that is kind of debated on this, though, is if this new hinge will allow for waterproofing. So that is a one thing that's kind of floated around in a couple of different articles that I've read on, that it seems like some people are saying that it might not be as water resistant, which right now is an IP68. Honestly, I'd be fine with splash resistant. I don't need kind of submersion, but let me know what you guys think. If you could have the S Pen slot and a better camera, would you be fine with more, like, it can get splashes on it, it can get wet, but not submerged in water? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. I would be fine with like an IP 66. I don't know if I would go as far as 65. I maybe for an S Pen, maybe 65. 5 is splash resistant, like it can be in the rain, no problem. You could take it on the shower even, and it would be fine. But it's not going to be good for submersion. So I would be fine with that, but let me know your guys' thoughts. Where are you when it comes to how far of or how good of a water resistance you need? Now, the other thing that I hope is not true, but this is one article that just did depict it, so I thought I'd point it out. It will be getting taller and narrower, which we just got wider this past year. So I don't know why they would do this, but it's a possibility apparently. So that it would actually get a little bit narrower, which I don't mind. Obviously, when it's open like this, it's not that big of a deal. But when I find it to be that big of a deal is in this mode, because I just liked it getting a little bit wider here. Now, there are saying, well, it could be possible. It could still be possible wider on the front and then still taller. So it's a possibility that it's just a hinge that is making it get narrower on the inside, but the outside will still be slightly wider. So I'm very curious to see if that'll happen. Essentially, what they would have to do is make a bigger screen on the front, which is a possibility because of this hinge. So very curious to see how it'll go. But overall, that is another possibility on the dimensions of it. But let me know what you guys think. I, for one, am very, very intrigued by this. And this would honestly interest me possibly even more than an S23 Ultra for this fact alone, because I would now have a better camera on par with the S22 Ultra, which, you know, yes, it's a year old at this point coming up after the S23 comes out, but obviously it's going to be well supported and it's going to have great software that is going to update with the sensor. A good point I thought MKBHD made in a recent video is that, yeah, basically with like the iPhone camera quality, one of the reasons why it's so poor is because it's a new sensor and it takes time to update based on that sensor in terms of sharpening, in terms of brightening, in terms of low light and everything. So it does take time for that. It's one of the reasons why I think the Pixel 7 was so much better than the Pixel 6, even though they have the same sensor, is because Google had a year to work with that sensor and now know how to adapt to it instead of the older sensor that they had used for the past 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how that will go. I'm also very curious if we will finally see a price cut in the Fold 5, because I mean, if this, so there's the biggest competitor to the Fold 5 right now is something called the Oppo N2 out there. And the Oppo N2, the whole idea behind it, it is a wider, short, bendable phone. But the real kicker is that it's around $1,200. So, which is substantially less. I mean, you're talking about $600 difference on their, I believe, actually, no, I think it's 700 maybe even, depending on the market. But yeah, so that is a big difference, right? Like if we could get, I still think it would be the smartest thing ever for Oppo to change the name of it and call it the OnePlus Fold and bring it to the US. I think that would do very well in the US, especially at that price point. I know I would buy it, and it would be the first OnePlus I bought in years. So I would definitely basically really be a fan of that one. Let me know what you guys think, but that I think would be great to actually push Samsung to maybe drop it down to, you know, 1,600, 1,500 even, and that would be really interesting to see and get a lot more competitive and have a lot more people buy it, I feel like, because then, you know, obviously most people don't buy their phone outright, they do it in monthly payments, so that would allow for monthly payments to be much lower. So I would be interested in to see that for sure. All right. In other news, so this was announced over CES, but I hadn't gotten a chance to talk to you guys about it yet. So Qi is the wireless standard format that every smartphone uses. Well, Qi 2.0 is coming out, and it uses similar, not the same, but similar magnets like MagSafe does as a part of its new standard. And this is really cool because of the fact that essentially it would kind of take a standard that's been only on one product and now bring it to everyone. It's kind of like Intel and their Thunderbolts. So Intel's Thunderbolt technology was only available for laptops that had Intel. So for me, I have an AMD laptop right now and it doesn't have Thunderbolt. But what ended up happening is that Intel kind of basically, you know, they're time-lapse right now on Thunderbolt, and for the good of more so the fact that kind of like, okay, we'll let it go a year or two early to kind of move everything forward. We ended up getting USB 4.0, which essentially has an open source version of Thunderbolt in terms of its speed, in terms of its connectivity and everything. So that's what we're essentially getting here now, is that we are going to get a more universal version of MagSafe per se, or a Qi wireless standard with magnets. So that is what Qi 2.0 is coming out with, and it basically is what everything will be moving forward with. So when you're going to see new smartphones come out with Qi 2.0 compatibility, this is it. Now, I was already interested in this kind of thing besides the Qi 2 standard that's going to be coming out. You know, there's starting to be cases for Samsung and for other products and brands with a MagSafe case, and I was going to honestly try to check some out on the S23 Ultra. But even though they might beat me to it, this is really good for the fact that, hey, this is going to be something that might be on the S24 Ultra a year from now. So let me know what you guys think. I think this standard is good. I thought Apple was smart for their MagSafe capabilities. It was something that like they took that really was something they should have had. But yeah, it really was something that I think Apple did right. I don't think the magnets were as strong as they needed to be. Cases kind of improved that, so it was fine. But I'm very interested to see how this will go. Obviously, if it gets adopted by Android, there's going to be so many more accessories with it around the world, and essentially you will get kind of a standardized kind of wireless charging with magnets, which I think a lot of people, so I always got into, you know, debates with people like, oh, I love having a magnetic, dock and everything like that. I never got into that kind of stuff because of the fact that, well, simply I didn't want to block my Qi wireless charging. So this kind of brings both together. So I'm very happy about that. And I think this is something that will really benefit all phone manufacturers. And yeah, very happy to see it. Let me know what you guys think about it. All right, this was a cool technology that was announced at CES by Nvidia. And I think back to as I have worked at Newegg now for a couple of months, doing a lot of social media and a lot of content for them. I've noticed how many people read scripts. I, for one, have never created scripts. I never read scripts. I know other influencers that do make scripts for their products. I just cannot operate with that, or I have to operate very loosely with that in order for me to do a video that represents me in the right way. Even when I have a script, I go off of it all the time, and it's very interesting to me. But some people read off of scripts verbatim. So they just like read it and look at it and see the teleprompter, and that's it. Well, this is about to help those people that don't always have a transparent teleprompter. So this is something that I've seen in Newegg. It's basically kind of like a mirror in front of your camera, and then below it you have either a laptop display or a tablet, and basically it kind of does the whole thing. So what this technology is going to do is basically use NVIDIA Broadcast, which is already a software built into any computer that has NVIDIA software, which is basically if you have NVIDIA's graphics card, you have NVIDIA software available to you. So Broadcast is really good for canceling out the noise. So if I have a bunch of fans around me, I can like mute the noise like this, no problem with NVIDIA Broadcast. But now NVIDIA Broadcast is going to add a new feature, which is going to basically have AI detect your eyes and point them to the camera. So essentially, if I was like reading off of your guys' comments, it would basically shift my eyes to look at you guys directly, even though my eyes would be looking here. Instead, it would be looking here. And that's what this is happening right here. He's looking off camera at the script, but on here it's turned on, and now it looks like he's looking at the screen instead of off the screen. That is a really kind of freaky and interesting technology, quite frankly, but one that I am pretty happy to see. Like I'm pretty happy to see this kind of technology, just because I think it's really good to be able to help people that do read off teleprompters, that do read off of that kind of stuff, or that just kind of look around all the time and they forget sometimes that they're being filmed and they need to be looking directly at the camera. I know it's not a natural thing, especially if it's your first time. Like I remember when I had filmed either my wife or my daughter for shots or videos and everything like that, they would always look at the screen that was to the right so that they could see themselves talk essentially and not look directly at the camera. So this would essentially fix that. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a pretty cool feature to be able to do that. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. All right, this one I'm kind of upset with because I already, for one, got rid of my Stadia controller. I was like, well, you know, I'm just going to toss it in the recycle bin and that will be it kind of thing, because it wasn't supposed to work. But it turns out that not only will it have Bluetooth enabled, but Google is going to unlock the Bluetooth, so it's just not a worthless pile of junk. Wish I would have known that before. Basically, they said that, hey, we're not going to support this anymore, and that was about 2 months ago. So a lot of people thought, hey, this controller is going to be worthless now. So, like I said, I tossed mine in the recycle bin, and that was it, kind of thing. I didn't know that I could end up using it down the line because I thought it was literally about to become worthless. So yeah, basically, if you did hold on to your Stadia controller, they will actually unlock it. They've kind of changed their mind on this aspect. I think, you know, the environmental implications kind of made them course correct. And yeah, it's really simple. Just basically that it looks like they are going to change their mind and make this a Bluetooth controller. Before, it was only a Wi-Fi controller, and that's how you could only get it to work, which is how it worked with Stadia, and that was it. But now it looks like it will have Bluetooth standard certification, so you can just use it as a regular controller. Anything that uses Bluetooth can use this. So yeah, let me know if you still have your Stadia controller. Like I said, I recycled mine a while back just because I didn't think it would be around anymore. So yeah. All right. Now, let me sip some water before I get to the last article. And this is a very interesting thing. And if this happens, Samsung would be genius for it. There's a rumor going around right now that Samsung just might come back at this time when they need it the most with a Galaxy S22 FE. So here's why this is so important and so big. And that is that the S22 FE would do exactly what they needed to do. And that is go up against the best bang for the buck smartphone right now, which is the Pixel 7. Now, let's go ahead and see real quick. I believe the Pixel 7 currently right now is going for, let me just see. I believe right now you can buy a Pixel 7 for $599. Oh, wow. Okay, it's even cheaper right now. Wow. That is insanely a good price, guys. Apparently you can get it right now for as low as $499. But normal price is $599. If Samsung could come out with an S22 FE with last year's processor, is what the article says, so it'll come out with the Snapdragon Gen 1. It's a really interesting concept. Now, if you remember, the last FE model we had, I believe, was the S23 FE, and that came out after the S21. So when the S21 series came out, S21, S21, I think it was still called Plus, S21 Ultra came out. Later that year, we had an S20 FE come out. So it was basically like the fan edition. It was a cheaper version of the high-end flagship that it came out that year, but it went with last year's model name so that you could kind of like, oh, okay, it's going to be a different kind of phone. So what the rumor is right now, that there would be an S22 FE. And that is very interesting because, again, I think it would be genius because right now Samsung, I mean, look at that. $499. And this is a phone that goes toe-to-toe with the S22, right? But it's $499. The S22 started at $749. How are they competing with this? Like, this is such a good price that it has made Google like a legit contender to be one of the best smartphones out there on the market, that everyone's just like, wow, this is really good. So I'm very curious to see how this will turn out, and I'm very curious your guys' thoughts on it, because this is something that if they do it and they come out at $599 standard price, they could take back what Google easily took from them. I mean, lo and behold, if they do it for $500, they could even, this is a little bit of a diabolical thing, kind of thing, but they could even, what this person brought up is kind of replace the top A series phone. A series is known as a mid-ranger, right? So it has a stigma to it. And if they just kind of improve the features, and instead of calling it the A74, which would be the next highest end A series phone, call it the S22 FE, it would get attention. It would be great marketing. It would just be so interesting. And honestly, I think it's something that Samsung could use right now. Obviously, their sales have dropped, and this is something that could legit really help them out and put pressure not only on Pixel, but put pressure on Apple. Because Apple's talking about dropping the SE right now, right? They're literally no longer ordering SEs at their current form. Now they might come out with a new one in March, but that is the whole idea behind it, that this is something that could indeed happen. So I'm very curious to see what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. But yeah, it's a very interesting prospect to say the least. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I think it would be good for them, and it would be great marketing if they were to come out with a S22 FE. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. All right, guys, those were the articles for today. Now, again, let me know your guys' questions, thoughts, or concerns, or anything like that. But yeah, it's a really interesting topic right now that's going on with all these things. All right, but yeah, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section down below, and I will answer them before the end of the show. Now, I do want to talk about some videos coming out soon. And first and foremost, we have one from Gavistar. I don't know if you remember, I covered them a long time ago. But basically, the Gavistar was a speaker that had a really cool look to it and very cool sound to it. I'm going to be doing a video that has both the speaker and some headphones inside of it. The headphones have a very unique thing that I've never seen in headphones before. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that. Also, I'm in the process of doing a comparison with Anker's new Nebula projector. So I had a projector for a while now called XGIMI Horizon Pro. It's a 4K projector, very good quality, very great. And Anker was like, ours is better. Compare them. I was like, okay, let's do it. So I'm going to be testing it out. Really, I've already seen one thing that is very much better, and the specs say it's better, brighter, and all that kind of stuff, faster, but always have to check and see how it really plays out. It's definitely heavier, so I'm concerned about its weight, but definitely something that we will have to see how it goes. So wish me luck on that, and it is something that I will be going over in the next that one is about a week away, and then the Gavistar is going to be out this week, along with how to improve your photo quality on the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. This video is a long time coming for sure, but it was one thing that I showed my friend who's part of a group called Team Pixel. Like, he takes photos and videos of the Pixel all the time, and he didn't know this one feature, and I was like, wow, like, you don't even know it. So it's like, it's something that a lot of people probably don't know on how to take a better video quality with it. It's something so simple, so easy, but it's dramatically different once you do it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to come out with that video this week as well. And yeah, you guys will be seeing a lot more videos from me now that I'm getting more partnerships. I talked to a couple brands out there at CES, so there are more things coming, which I'm very excited about. But also, you know, there will be more sponsored videos. This is kind of how I'm changing in a way, or growing rather. I'm trying to do more sponsored content to essentially get more funds this year, to improve the quality and also even hire more camera people maybe. There's a big one for Samsung that I'm trying to get happen. So yeah, there's certain things that I'm trying to get done so that I can make sure that I do better and better content so far, and in the future, like, to be able to create really amazing looking content. So yeah, these are things like that I want to be able to do, and that kind of stuff. As always that I've said, I will not do a sponsored video no matter how much they offer me. And trust me, I've turned down videos that were in the thousands just because I didn't believe in the brand or trust in it or care for it. So yeah, I will always stick to doing brands that I actually respect, that I actually care about, that I think are good quality, and that I think for the right people. And I will say that in the videos. So although you might be seeing more sponsored content from me, I'm not going to kind of break any of the things that made this channel what it is. So I want to reiterate that we're almost close to 400,000 subscribers too. When we do get to 400,000 subscribers, I do believe I'm going to do like a smartphone giveaway of some kind, or a laptop giveaway even. So stay tuned for that because I would be very happy to do that for you guys. And just as a thank you, we're almost there. We're about, I think, 18,000 subscribers away. So on the road to 400,000. And when we get to 400,000, I will give away either a smartphone or a laptop, and probably some other goodies as well. But yeah, just letting you know what how that's gonna go, basically. All right. I use the latest iPhone and Galaxy. The iPhone is my daily driver. I'm thinking about switching the Galaxy for the Pixel. Your thoughts, please. I mean, the Pixel is a great phone. I really do love it. It was my main video shooter while I was at CES, actually. So all the video content that you saw from Newegg, if it was shot by me, it was the Pixel. So really good quality when it comes to that. And honestly, most of my thumbnails are usually shot from a Pixel. I trust the Pixel usually for my thumbnails more than anything else because I just love the way it lights everything very well. So yeah, Pixels are the result for most of my thumbnails you've seen for over the past year. I would say 80% of them were shot on a Pixel for all of my thumbnails that you've seen. So yeah, I definitely love the quality, love it a lot. The camera is going to be the biggest thing. And I will say that the Pixel 7 Pro did get the Tensor 2 chip, is a lot better than the Tensor 1 chip in terms of crashes and issues. I haven't had many people have issues with the 7 or 7 Pro, as I had a lot of people had issues with the Pixel 6. So yeah, that's kind of all the ins and outs for that one. Hey Ricky, how are you? Do you know anybody on Android 13 update on the unlocked Note 20 Ultra in the US? I'm still trying, but nothing yet. I'm pretty sure my wife is, actually. Yeah, I want to say her phone upgraded to Android 13 like a month ago or something, maybe even longer. She wasn't updating it, and I think I put a new screen protector on in December, and I think I saw like, oh, you have an update, let me update it, and I think that was the Android 13 update. So yeah, I don't know if she has the T-Mobile version or an unlocked version at this point. It was a couple years ago, obviously, when I bought it. But yeah, hers is the one that I think oh no, wait. Never mind. I think she has the S22 Ultra now that I think about it. I think I upgraded her from the Note 20 to the S22 Ultra. So no, she does have Android 13, but I'm pretty sure she has the S22 Ultra. So sorry, no. Never mind. I think it was. I'm almost, yeah. Now I'm remembering how many phones I upgraded last year. I'm pretty sure one was hers. So yeah. Do you know if there's any noise cancellation earbuds coming out in 2023? Any new ones? I mean, yeah, there's lots of them. I personally met up with Sennheiser, and they had some new ones. Jabra said they have things coming down the line, but nothing right now. So obviously they're going to come out with some new ones. Sony, I don't know if they'll upgrade this year, possibly just because the MX5s weren't as well received, especially because they kept the MX4s. So like, I think anyone would tell you right now the best noise canceling for the buck kind of thing might be the XM4s, which are these ones right here, which, yeah, I mean, they're just absolutely the best, I would say. I still, every time I edit, I usually rock these. Bang for the buck, I would probably say the best noise canceling ones are the ones that I tried out from what do you call it, Soundcore. I have them. Which ones are they called? Soundcore space A40s Q45, I think it is. Yeah, so this one right here. So these, amazing look to them. 149 normal price. Right now you get 20 bucks off apparently if you get them. I would rock the blue just because it looks kind of fresh, but black is always a good one to go to as well. But I just love the look of these. They're so good look. The sound quality is absolutely amazing. I wouldn't say the noise cancellation is as good as the Sony's for sure, but like the audio quality is absolutely amazing, especially if you rock LDAC, which is a codec that most smartphones can do. It's really good. It's just really good. The call quality is good, but not the best. But I mean, bang for the buck for 150 bucks. There's nothing in this price range that I would say that goes near them. So yeah, I would probably really recommend these ones. I'll put it in here. Soundcore space Q45. There we go. So yeah, those are really, really good noise canceling for right now, that I would recommend, and they're really good. They're really good. Like I had no complaints about them whatsoever. I think the biggest thing that would be for me is that the Sony MX4s are bigger. So in terms of being able to fit on my head, they fit more comfortably because the head extension is bigger than the sound core. So that's the only thing that I wish that the sound cores did a little bit, like get a little bit longer extension, but hey, it's not for, obviously it can't fit everyone's head. And mine's a big head. Like I always say, if it can fit my head, it can fit anyone's head. But yeah, those are the only ones I can think of. I don't know if Bose will probably come out with some new ones, I will say. They just haven't for about a year now, so I would say Bose might come out with some new ones for sure. I still am very curious on their earbuds, to be quite honest. Like I was hoping those would drop down in price, no luck. But yeah, those are the ones that I would think of right now in terms of it. So yeah. All right, let's get to some other questions. IP65 seems pretty manageable. I would say so as well. Beat the game, Rudy. Can't game. Glad you did, man. Let's see. Random comment. Thank you for deleting that for me. Yeah, keep it to technology, casual conversation, guys. Yeah. Stadia sucks. Yeah, it does. So many better game services than Stadia. Yeah, no, I am about to eventually get the Xbox Game Pass just because I still haven't reviewed the Logitech G Hub, which I've been saying I was going to do for a while. Got to get started on that for sure. My mom still has her S20 FE. Fan Edition's always a good idea. Yeah, no, the, Fan Edition's great. I think my brother still has the Fan Edition, actually. I'd be very interested in the S22 FE. I think a lot of people would. I think it's a great idea for it, for sure. Is the FE better than the A phones? Yes, typically the FE are higher end specs than the A series, for sure. Is the Fold 5 worth waiting for? If these rumors are correct. Now, these are rumors at this point, so obviously things can change. But if it has less of a crease in the hinge, okay, sure, why not? A lot of tech reviewers care about that. I don't. If it has, though, 108 megapixel sensor like the S22 Ultra, the S23 Ultra will have a better camera sensor this year. But if it has an old 108 megapixel sensor, and if it has an S Pen built in, I mean, I'm already excited to leave the Fold 4 for the S23 Ultra. I'm excited for it. I want my S Pen back. I want my better camera quality back. I'm very excited for it. But if you give me a Fold 5 with a built-in S Pen and a better camera, I will jump back. Like, I will jump back for that. That is something that I've been waiting for the past 3 years now. So if Samsung finally delivers it, it's not like I'm not going to go for it. So that one is something that I'm like, oh yes, please. One, please. Yeah, I would be so happy for it. All right, hoping Samsung will sponsor the kitchen renovation soon. So my kitchen renovation should be finally done tomorrow. It was funny because when I was at CES and Saw all the new appliances. There's a new fridge that is even bigger than mine in terms of the screen. My screen, I think, it was a 27 inch. The new one has like a 34 inch or something like that. It's just it's beautiful. But like all these things that they had on there. But I did show a couple of people that work for Samsung the kitchen, and they were like, "This is like." Two of them straight up said like, "Oh, this is like a photo you get from Google or something like that on a renovated kitchen." And like, no, 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 this is legit my kitchen, and it has all Samsung appliances. So they seem pretty interested, but they were not the PR people, so who knows how it'll kind of go. But very interested to see how that will go for sure. All right. Um. Let's see. My screen protector coming off on my Z Flip Fold. Do you recommend taking it off? Yeah, if it's tearing off already, just take it off because it could damage it actually if you keep it on that way. You can get a replacement for it for like Whitestone. They sell one, and I'm pretty sure Samsung does it themselves too. I'm pretty sure they have like a built-in screen protector film that you can buy from them. So, or well, I guess it wouldn't be built in anymore. But yeah, so is there a replacement for it? Yes. And you can get it through different avenues if you are still worried about it. But yeah, it definitely can be done for sure. Um, do you think what you know is worth upgrading from the S22 to the S23 Ultra? It's kind of hard before everything's official, right? If the rumors are to be true, the battery life will be much better. It will be faster performance, but I mean the S22 wasn't necessarily bad, right? But also the biggest thing is the camera, especially in low light, is supposed to be uncanny of a difference. So for me, someone that takes photos all the time, for me, someone that uses my phone a lot, yes. If the rumors are to be true, the battery life and the camera are the biggest improvements. Those are the two biggest improvements I care about. And see how much your trade-in is worth. If they give you $1,000 for the S22 Ultra and the S23 Ultra is 1,200, I mean it's not a bad deal, right? So yeah, it depends on how much everything's worth. So, the bespoke fridge, how cool was it? It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see it in person, just the new bigger screen and what's coming out. Now, to be fair, the reason why I think I can still get a sponsored video from Samsung is because of the fact that they just came out, right? And then you had this whole set of things. Um, they basically they came out with theirs. What do you call it? Sorry, I saw some of the upcoming questions. So they came out with their lineup, but that lineup isn't officially coming out till down the line. So that lineup probably won't come out till probably spring, summer, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that was just the biggest thing right now. All right, and then we have best security cameras wireless. It is hard to argue with Eufy security cameras. They are not only one of the best quality ones, but best priced ones for sure. Now, I will be the first to admit they had a controversy recently where they basically talked about how, oh, well, our stuff is never in the cloud, and it was a stupid marketing thing that wasn't true, that they have to basically put it up in the cloud in order to do the notifications that we get on our phone. So when I get a notification on my phone, it shows me a picture of my security cameras, and basically in order to do that, it has to go up into the cloud. So there you go. So that's one thing, right? So basically their whole thing is they are the ones that you can basically have an SD card for, or in their newest version that I have over here, you can have a hard drive. And that saves all of your content, so you don't have to pay for a cloud service continuously. That is also true, but what they have admitted and has come out basically because they were saying, oh no, it's never in the cloud as a marketing thing. And it got found out, like, no, you do put it in the cloud because, and then you're saying, well, yeah, we have to put it in the cloud to do this. Like, you just admitted you do put it in the cloud then. So it was a whole thing that basically, it definitely got people kind of weary of it, right? But I will still say their quality is second to none. Now, saying that, the other brand that I would trust that has a similar kind of product is TP-Link. Now, TP-Link basically has the ability to have different companies for their smart stuff. So their main division for a while now has been Kasa, spelled Kasa. They are the predominant in my house. They are the predominant light strips. That's a TP-Link light strip behind me right there. They are the predominant light switches. Every smart switch I have is pretty much TP-Link. I really love their quality. It's very easy to use, very easy to set up, very easy to automate too, and very easy to work with Google Assistant. So I love that. However, they are currently right now in a process where they are going to have Casa still, but it seems like their new brand that they are really pushing that works with Matter, which is a whole nother thing. Matter is a platform that is essentially going to be a standard that it's basically going to work with everything. So it's going to work with Google Assistant, it's going to work with smart things, it's going to work with Alexa, it's going to work with Apple, everything. And that's the standard is called Matter. The new version of that is, the new version of TP-Link that works with Matter is called Tapo, Tapo. Those are coming out this year, and it basically looks like they're very closely mirroring TP-Link, Eufy, in terms of literally the same kind of doorbell I have. They had one just like it now. The same kind of vacuum that I've had from Eufy and other ones from Vasa is there then. So I did ask them, so is Tapo taking over Casa? They said as of right now, both brands will be out in the market, but Tapo will be the one that is compatible with Matter. What that tells me is that they're going to kind of see which one is the more popular one. And then one will probably take over. But yeah, so that's going to be a new thing, and that would definitely be one I would recommend. Of course, you have things like Nest, and you have things like, Arlo, and you have things like, what's Alexa's? You have Blink, which is a very cheaper version, and then you have Wise, which is the cheapest version. Don't recommend Wise, and personally, just because I've seen too many issues with it. Setting it up at my mother-in-law's house. So yeah, I would say Blink is probably the lowest, most affordable ones I would go with. I still trust Eufy enough. I know they have a lot of things to it though, and everything like that. So yeah, lots of stuff like that. Okay, so this is a rumor. I want to clarify that this is a rumor, but the cloud storage thing was a rumor first too, so it very well could end up being true. Someone said, David said that I heard China was using information off of Eufy camera for identification such as facial recognition. So you can give Eufy camera the option to recognize faces. So that is something that is true, that you can allow Eufy to do that. However, Eufy actually doing that sounds like too far weird in my opinion, just because they aren't a direct Chinese company like that. Anchor is the main company on there. So that seems more like propaganda, but who knows? I mean, look, it could completely be. I mean, we've all heard. I mean, quite frankly, I don't think Eufy is needed for facial recognition. If they wanted to, guess what's a lot better form of that? TikTok. TikTok is way better at facial recognition and being able to do that on a much higher scale than little Eufy is. So that's why I don't necessarily buy into it. It could be true. It definitely could be. As of right now, that's a rumor. But yeah, so that is everything that's going on with Eufy because they essentially lied, and that is the main issue, because they lied about it. And I'm saying this as a person that's been sponsored by Eufy. So, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I always just, but I try to be as open and honest. I mean, I'm literally talking about them that this is what they did, and they lied. So that is what people are upset about, right? That is what people are upset about. You said that my footage wasn't in the cloud. Lo and behold, someone looked at your back end stuff and said, actually, it is in the cloud. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, but we have to do that in order to send out these notifications to your phone because that's what is required to do so. Okay, but you just lied. Like, that was the problem, and that was the whole scandal and everything like that. And now, there could be more, there could be stuff like that, but just letting you guys could know what is factual right now and what is rumor right now. Any luck finding the Galaxy Tab S Ultra 5G? No. If I remember correctly, we figured out that it wasn't available in the US or didn't come out in the US. So yeah, there was nothing that came out in the US for that model. Or at least that I could find when I looked it up, what was it, 2 weeks ago or something like that, 3 weeks ago? Do you trust liquid screen protectors? No, I don't. Especially not with something that's a foldable display. I wouldn't trust that. No, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. That's just me. Cost again a rebrand, not exactly, but definitely in some ways, yeah. It could be eventually getting a rebrand. As of right now, they're two separate brands from TP-Link. And again, I love TP-Link's brands. And they don't have as many in terms of smart security. That's why I did go with, like, if I go for Casa security camera right here, there's not going to be that many that I can go with. There's a wired one. There's Baymont. Like, they don't have that many as in their Casa brand. So they're not made to be a competitor yet, I will say. But again, this Topo brand is going to have a lot of them coming this year that will be more. So I think you're going to see more from it as they come out. But yeah, you're going to see a lot more from Topo. That effectively, I think they're going to try to go head to head. Like, look, this one right here. This is a basic competitor of the one I did for Eufy. And it's right here. Like, this is a basic competitor to it. Exactly. And I saw this one and a couple of other ones they had coming out. I think I saw they had a 4K one even coming out. So these are literally kind of like a competitor to what I reviewed, 2K camera quality, so a little bit different, but very high end, very good quality. So I do think these will be competitors. And again, they are taking something that Eufy did, which is able to save your footage offline on an SD card, so you don't have to pay a monthly thing for it. So very happy about that. So yeah. All right. If Samsung gives $900 for trade-in for the S22 Ultra, would it be worth it for the S23 Ultra with new processor? Is a game changer, even though the front-facing camera, 12 megapixel, the subject. So I don't know about that front-facing camera. I'm very curious to see why and what they're gonna say is the justification for that, because it's a very weird thing to up the camera quality and lower the camera quality. Very interested to see how that goes. Very interested. Like, why? Because it wouldn't make sense if it was just a cost-cutting measure. It could be that, what if it's a bigger sensor? That would make sense, right? Have a bigger sensor. The megapixels don't matter as much, even though it's kind of funny if they would say that, because obviously they're coming out with one that's like the biggest sensor ever and a 200 megapixel camera. So it would be very interesting to see why. What would their justification for it be? But I would be very interested to see what it is. So yeah. But would it be for the processor that is supposed to give you much better battery life? Yeah, it's supposed to give you faster too, but battery life is the biggest change apparently for it, giving you 2 to 3 hours more screen on time. Very interested to see that. But also, I will say that another big thing for it is that one of the biggest things I will say that I'm very interested in is the fact that depending on what happens with this, it could also have a much, much better low light in camera than any smartphone on the market. and that is saying something. Like, that is, it's supposed to go head to head with some of the with the best camera sensor, like the won the low light competition on Marquez's MKBHD's blind camera test. It's supposed to go head to head with that one. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. But yeah. 51st Day Questions doesn't need cloud service. There you go. So yeah, 51st Day Questions is a game that I created a couple of years ago. It is available on Android and iOS. You can play the game and have a lot of fun doing it. Ask them a question, you ask, they ask you a question, you find out if you're compatible, if you know about each other, and see how it goes. 51st Date Questions is a great way to tell if you and your mate are compatible and if you guys are going to have a fun time. Great icebreaker for a first date. Highly recommend it. Go ahead and download it on the App Store. All right. I switched from Blink doorbell to Ring. I bought the Ring doorbell for $60 on Black Friday. That is honestly a really good deal. Ring is always really good on the price for their stuff. For me, it's just such a thing about paying for monthly. Now, I say this having bought a Ring doorbell with a, like, I got a Black Friday one a little while back. I think it was a Ring Pro with the free, I forget what the Echo Show 5, I think it was called. So I got that for my mom because I thought it would be very simple, very easy for her to use, and she's had no issues with it. She's liked it. So great for that. And she pays the fee. So, you know, it's the whole thing about that one. The privacy thing in terms of cops being able to see it and all that kind of stuff is out there. So, you know that going into it. Do you have a disc version or a digital version for Xbox? I have a disc. I like the disc better. I do not have an Xbox. I only have a PS5. I actually have bought Xbox Game Pass though. More to play games on my PC basically. So any games that you can, if you get the Ultimate version, all the games that are for Xbox I can play on the PC for that same monthly fee. I have switched to the PS5 digital version. Have not had an issue switching to it. The only problem I will say is that, like, if I, had another PS5 and say my daughter has a PS4, right? She has my old PS4 in her room. And if I had a game, if I end up getting like a PS5 Pro eventually, right? And then if she is playing the PS5, we can play digital copies. And she can play it on hers and I can play it on mine, but we can't play it at the same time. So that is one thing that is the only limitation about the digital version with one purchase, one buy that you don't have with the disc necessarily. Well, actually, that's not. I guess you would have to have two discs in that case. So it's kind of. But that's just one thing is that I have not had any issues switching to the digital version. Like I'm happy that I did it. And I don't have any really regrets. Sometimes, like when there's some deals at Best Buy or at Newegg or at Amazon for the disc version, well, I'm just like, well, I can't get that. So like that's it. So I do agree that sometimes the disc versions, especially for sales like Black Friday, do come cheaper than digital versions. So that's the one thing I will say, that sometimes you guys get better deals on the disc than on the digital. But at least in the US, it really doesn't, like, you don't get money for old games that much anymore, really. GameStop, Best Buy did away with it entirely, and GameStop doesn't give you hardly anything for it anymore. So have you ever rented games on GameFly? I used to do that all the time. I don't play enough to justify it. I used to have GameFly because I used to, if you got a game every month, it was justified. If you got a game every 2 months, it would kind of like, it could break even. But yeah, that's the whole thing about it, is that they, for sure, in terms of GameFly, I think it's if you at least play a new game every month, it is well worth it. It's kind of like my AMC Stubs thing, right? Like I have a thing that I am paying for one movie ticket every month. So as long as I see a movie every month, it is worth it for me. Sometimes I see 2 movies a month. Sometimes I see 3 movies a month, especially in the summer times when the blockbusters coming out every week. Great. It's worth it for me. If I don't do that, then it's not worth it. That's a lot of the subscription services out there. You just have to kind of take a look at what you're spending on, what you do it, and then go from there. Love my Z Fold 3. lasted almost 2 years. By far more trade-in value for the Fold 5, bigger screen and built-in S Pen. I love the Spigen case with the S Pen slot. Nice. I just switched from the Spigen one to, I didn't have the one with the S Pen slot, but I did have the Spigen case, and now I switched to the Incipio case, which I absolutely love because the grip is awesome. So I'm on that one right now. So yeah. All right, they need more home co-op games. Yeah, I mean, I still haven't finished It Takes Two, I think it was called. Great game, but me and my wife got like more than halfway through it, and then we just didn't have time to play anymore. Have you heard you should lay your PS5 vertical because of the chip inside? I heard the opposite, actually. I heard you shouldn't lay it vertical. You should lay it horizontal because of the chip, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the way. Because vertical, the chip is sideways then. So essentially, what it is it's the liquid metal cooling. So on every computer, there is something called thermal paste that goes between your processor and your cooling system. And the thermal paste makes it so that those two never physically touch, because that would be too hot and it would cause overheating. So what they did for the PS5 is a higher end material than thermal paste called liquid metal cooling. Liquid metal cooling is awesome. It is very expensive. It is very hard to do. I would never try to put liquid metal cooling on myself just because that is a delicate process. PS5 was the biggest main consumer product ever to have that instead of thermal paste. But apparently the whole thing, so it is horizontal that you need to have it. The whole thing is that what they're seeing now is if you do put the PS5 vertically, the processor is right here. The liquid metal cooling is on a little square, blocking that processor from the heatsink or the cooling system. So basically, if you're holding it vertical for too long, what they're saying is it kind of is seeping a little bit of that liquid metal cooling down below. And why that's a problem is because, again, if your processor and basically cooling system, in this case, I assuming it's a heat sink only, and fan, basically if those two don't have something like thermal paste or like liquid metal inside of it between the two, it will overheat. So that's why it's important to actually apparently lay it down flat, which I have always had it laying down flat, so I'm good, a-okay. But it's just something that kind of got out that, oh, that's what you should do now because it's better for it. So yeah. All right, guys, I think we will call that a show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Always do appreciate it. Hopefully you did like this video. If you did, please give a thumbs up before you head out. We will have more videos coming soon. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on all social media platforms at YouTube Tech Guy. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok as well, besides YouTube. So follow me there because, hey, getting those numbers up are big things to brands, and I want them to know that we're all over the place. By the way, before I let you guys go, I will say that I have reached out to a couple of contacts at Samsung. I do not know if I'm going to go to Unpacked yet. I have reached out to them. Hopefully, I will get it. I will get to go. But, you know, if you guys want to do your thing on Twitter and just say at Samsung Mobile US, make sure you send YouTube Tech Guy an invitation. I wouldn't be mad at you because that helped out 1 year. And I remember we only got to go because of you guys doing that on Twitter. It was like, I think 20 people sent that message, and that is what made it happen. So we'll see if it happens again, but I am hopeful that we do get to go, and I get to see the S23 for you live and get to bring you guys content right away. That is the first day YouTube Shorts will start paying money, so best believe there will be some YouTube Shorts coming out for that. All right, guys, thank you guys always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.